Dear children, today we are going to see the chapter Women Change the World, chapter 5, SPL, NCERT, class 7. How women change the world, we will see in this particular chapter. Women has brought revolutionary changes in her life. What women we saw in the beginning of the 19th century or 18th century, today a lot of changes we can see in their attitude, in their job professions, in their life skills also. In this chapter, we will look at work of the women outside the home and understand how some occupations are seen to be more suitable for men than for women. We will also learn about how women struggle for equality in this particular chapter. Who does what work? Draw images of the following. It is the project work I am giving you. You should do at home. Draw the images of a farmer. Write a few lines about his job. A factory worker, a nurse, a scientist, a pilot, and a teacher. So these are the drawings, images you can draw in a A4 size paper in 6 papers and submit on or before 15th of October. This is your project, part and parcel of the teaching learning. Can you guess who are here? They are farmers. Here, this is a factory of workers working in a factory. Here, can you guess who is she? She is a nurse. He is a scientist. Here there are pilots, women pilot and men pilot. She is a teacher. Fewer opportunities and rigid expectations. It is important to understand that we live in a society in which all children face pressures from the world around them. Everyone gets pressure. You are all getting pressure in your day-to-day life, either from the school teachers or from the principal or from the classmates or from your friends or from your relatives and of course your parents. Sometimes these come in the form of demands from adults and they are demanding to do this and that which are a bountiful work but that you cannot do so that you will build up pressure due to heavy load of work. At other times they can just be cause of unfair teasing by our own friends. Sometimes your own friends teasing you and they are ill-treating you. That time you will develop pressure. Boys are pressurized to think about getting a job that will pay a good salary. Now, to get a good salary, the boys all will fight. They are also teased and bullied if they do not behave like other boys. If they do not behave like ordinary boys, they will be teased and bullied. That's why what happened. We should behave like a boys. Then learning for change. Going to school is an extremely important part of your life. More and more children enter school every year. We begin to think that it is normal for all children to go to school. As you are all going to school today, it is difficult for us to imagine that schools and learning could be seen as out of bounds or not appropriate for some children. But in the past, the skill of reading and writing was known to only a few, and many people do not know reading and writing and speaking. Only a few castes used to do this work in the very, very remote past. Most children learned the work their families or elders did. For girls, the situation was worse in communities that taught sons to read and write. Daughters were not allowed to learn the alphabet. They were within four walls. They should do only domestic work and they are not supposed to go to school. This kind of attitude made girls to sit idle at home. Even in families where skills like pottery, weaving, and craft were taught, the contributions of daughters and women was only seen as supportive, not constructive. Here is a lady, she has broke all stereotypes by becoming the first railway engine driver in the northern railways. Can you guess who is she? She is engine drivers are men mostly, but 27-year-old Lakshmi Lakra from Kapoor tribal family in Jharkhand has begun to change things. She is the first woman engine driver for Northern Railways. Like that, women can break the stereotypes that they cannot do this, they cannot do that. This kind of stereotypes they can break by achieving such kind of wonderful things. She is one important lady. She is also brought a lot of changes in her life. She is Pandita Rama Devi. Pandita Rama Devi is from Maharashtra and we will discuss about her. Rama Devi born in 1858 and died in 1922. She has championed the cause of women education. She never went to school but learned to read and write from her parents. She was given the title Pandita because she could read and write Sanskrit, a remarkable achievement by any woman at that age. As women then were not allowed to such knowledge, she has attained such knowledge. That's why she was popularly known as Pandita, opposite of Pandit. She went on to set up a mission in Kedagaon near Pune, Maharashtra in the year 1898, where widows and poor women were encouraged not only to become literate but to be independent. They were taught a variety of skills from carpentry to running a printing press, skills that are not usually taught to girls even today in this Kerala, Pune. All these kinds of skills are being taught to girls even in those days itself. That's why she has broke old stereotypes by making the woman to enter in the new fields. Ramabai's mission is still active today in Kedagaon, Pune, which was set up in the year 1898. Here, one important woman, second important woman that we are going to study, she is Ras Sundari Devi, who born in 1800 and died in 1890, lived about 90 years, who was born in West Bengal some 200 years ago. At the age of 60, she wrote her autobiography in Bangla language, Bengali language. Her book titled Amar Jivan is the worst work autobiography written by any Indian woman in any language. Ras Sundari Devi was a housewife from a rich landlord's family of West Bengal. At that time, it was believed that if a woman learned to read and write, she would bring bad luck to her husband and become a widow. That was the custom. Belief, superstition was there. That's why many women were confined to home. They did not go to school because of these kind of superstition, because of these kind of beliefs and attitudes of the society in those days. Despite this, she taught herself how to read and write in secret well after her marriage. After her marriage, she started reading and writing and learned, and she broke all stereotypes and she broke all these assumptions that the woman will become widow if she read and write. All these kinds of stereotypes were broken down by the Ras Sundari Devi. Next important woman we are going to study is also from Bengal. She is Rokeya Sakawat Hussain, who was born into a rich family who owned a lot of land in Bengal. Again, though she knew how to read and write Urdu, she was stopped from learning Bangla and English by their family members. In those days, English was as a language that would expose girls to new ideas which people thought were not correct for them. Therefore, it was mostly boys who were taught in English because they will expose. Rokeya Hussain learned to read and write Bangla and English with the support of her elder brother and elder sister, though her parents denied to and give her good education. But she had a very good support from her elder brother and elder sister, who both helped a lot to get the knowledge of Bangla and English to her. She went on to become a writer. She wrote a remarkable story titled Sultana's Dream in 1905 to practice her English skills when she was merely 25 years old. This story imagined a woman called Sultana who reaches a place called Ladyland. Ladyland is a place where some women had the freedom to study, work, and create inventions like controlling rain from the clouds and flying air cars. All these kinds of skills are being taught there in that lady land where which is described in the Sultana's Dream by Rokaya Shekawat Hussain. We have studied all the three important women who broke stereotypes. First one Pandita Rama Devi, second one Ras Sundari Devi, third one Rokaya Shekawat Hussain. And here, can you guess who is she in the first picture in the extreme left? She is Pandita Rama by the middle, Ras Sundari Devi in the extreme right. She is Rokeya Sakhawat Hussain, all supported for the cause of women education, women upliftment, women's achievement in from the darkness. That's why we have to schooling and education today. Nowadays, we will find out what is the condition. Today, both boys and girls attend school in large numbers as you are all coming. So, in our school also, we have in some classes more girls, in some classes less girls, in some classes more boys, and some classes less girls. This is the situation, but exactly we cannot gauge, we cannot measure. At as we will see, there still remain differences between the education of boys and girls. Still, some of the families are not giving much importance to girls' education, and they are getting marriage at the whenever they are attaining puberty. So all these kinds of things still to be seen, not everywhere, but in some places. India has a census every 10 years, which counts the whole population of the country. Whole population of the country is counted in every 10 years because census started in the year 1881 before independence and in 19 could say in 2011 also census conducted. Again census will be conducted in 2021 next year. It also gathers detailed information about the people living in India, their age, schooling, what work they do, and so on. All these kinds of information we will fetch and gather after conducting census every 10 years. We use this information to measure many things like the number of literate people and the ratio of men and women in the society who are more, whether this is what we can call sex ratio, that is number of women per thousand men, what is the condition in our country. The sex ratio is inclining towards men and men is more than women. Only two areas where we have women population is more, that is Kerala, where we have sex ratio is inclining towards women, and Pondicherry, today we can call it as Puducherry, there also we have more women population. According to the 1961 census, about 40% of the all boys and men, that is men 7 years old, we have to take 7 years old to consider literacy, that is speaking, reading, writing. If you are above 7 years, then only we have to calculate. Before 7 years, we should not calculate. Of literate, That is, they could at least write their names compared to just 15% of all girls and women. Who is she? Can you guess? He won the Nobel Prize along with one Indian gentleman and see for peace. Who is she? Can you guess? She is from Pakistan. She is Malala Yousafzai. She has stated one point: one child, one teacher, one pen, and book can change the world. Book can change the world. That's why she had promoted for the cause of women education in Pakistan, where we can see fundamentalism is dancing on the people. That's why she broke all barricades and all stereotypes to become a champion of women education in Pakistan. Women are creating a positive change in them. They are all reaching all avenues and attempting equality. They are also fighting for equality that they want on par with men. Is how women's movement is taking place. Women is, you can say, they doing all possible work and to get their means and to their objectives, all these things. We will see what are involved in the women's movement that are taking place not only in India, almost all countries of the world. Women and girls now have the right to study and get to school. Everywhere there are other spheres like legal for reforms, violence and health, where the situation of women and girls has improved a lot. Women individually and collectively have struggled to bring about these changes not only in our country, everywhere, in every part of life, in every sphere, they are all fighting to attain their goals and objectives and also their demands. This struggle is known as women's movement. Women's movement and many men also support the women's movement. That is the right cause because right cause anyone can support. And that is, do you support the women's movement? If yes, write in the comment box. No, also write because why do you support women's movement? Also, you can write it yes or no. And some glimpses of women's struggle, that is, women's struggle can be observed in two important things. One is campaigning and showing solidarity. Campaigning, there are three types of ways they can campaign in the society, raising awareness by through the films and through the newspaper, through the meetings conducted, through other important rallies, they can raise awareness among the women about their rights, about their life condition, all these things. And raising awareness here, see how being taught to the illiterate women, they can raise the situation by showing the pictures, by showing the cinemas, all these things. Media plays a major role in awakening the women and protesting. And also one more way is they will protest by procuring and by holding placards and by making a dharna and all these kind of activities will be there in the campaigning showing solidarity. And there you can do show solidarity. Suppose say whenever any woman is kidnapped, raped, or any woman is ill-treated or humiliated, that recently in Hathras incident is going on in many places in Katwa and in Jammu and Kashmir. There are some incidents happened in many places all around our country, all around the world. Whenever such kind of ill treatment or you can say inequalities are shown to women, they will demonstrate through the candle by holding candle in their hand. They come to the road and do all kind of things. Then celebrating events together. All they will come together so to celebrate whatever events related to women. And that's why what happened. That way also they can show solidarity. This way the women can fight to achieve their needs and their rights. Campaigning, showing solidarity. Thank you very much for patiently hearing my lesson.